Hey guys, it's Kim from marymore.com. I'm working on some blending brushes and I kind of want to get you guys' opinion if you guys don't mind. I'm going to show you how these work. First I'm going to show you a process where we're using the smudge brush, and the reason I made these is because I wanted to be able to apply paint or color and smudge at the same time. So I know that if we come in here and we brush on some color, so I'm just going to throw some color on here like this. I have to come in here, grab the smudge brush, and pick my brush that I need, and then I can start kind of blending and things like that. But I'm not able to apply color, so I can't change the color here and start smudging. I have to add the color where I need it, and then I have to come back to my smudge brush and start blending it that way. So anyway, what I did was I came up with 4 brushes that 2 of them have color and 2 of them do not. It's up to you on how you want to use these, but I'm going to show you how I use them. First of all, if there's any illustrators out there that are willing to kind of test these brushes out, I would be happy to send these to you so you guys can test them for me. I'm not looking for letterers to test them, I'm actually looking for illustrators. I like to see how an illustrator would use these so they can kind of test them out for me. I'm more into lettering, so I kind of get the whole lettering process and how to use them in this case, but I'm not really into big illustrations. So if there's any of you guys out there that are really into illustrating, please contact me. I can send you the brushes so you can test them out for me. And what we're going to do is I'm going to just grab a basic brush. The brushes that are in here is the soft water. This is more of like a hard water brush. This is the wet blender, and this is just the basic blender. So when you get these, if you do not, let's say you're not happy with the shape source and you want something a little bit different, save this brush and then duplicate it and then change your shape. So these are the ones that worked really well for me. I like the way the paint was applied, I like the way they blended, but if you get them and you're like, well, this shape source just isn't what I need, definitely go in and change that to what you need. Okay, so this is just a basic brush, no big deal. You can use any brush you want. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm just going to do a letter here. So here's the letter L. And what I do is I duplicate this, and I'm going to work on this top layer. I leave the bottom layer on because we're going to end up using that in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and select, and I'm going to start applying my color. So I'm just going to grab the basic blender right here, and hopefully my hand is not going to get in the way. So what I can do is start off, and this brush here, depending on the pressure you add, it's going to very softly add color. So if you want less, just pick up on that pressure. If you want more, push down a little bit harder. But you can see how we're already blending just with the brush. And if I want to change the color, I just pick up a new color, and again I can start blending this right in with the colors below it. So again, if I don't want a lot of color in that area, I'll just pick up on the pressure or add more. Okay, so I'm going to add a blue here. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys can really see that purple in there, but here I'm adding a lot more pressure here because I want more of this blue to kind of shine through, kind of show through. So I'm actually blending with actual color. I don't have to apply my color where I want it and then go to my smudge tool. I can do this all within one brush. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll start finishing this up so you guys can kind of see how this ends up. Alright, so if I want more color, or I want to make this swash that's going over the top, I want to define this a little bit more, I'll just use this brush and just pick it up, add more color. Because it's got a little bit of a fall off on it, so it runs out of color, but it's a little bit less, it's a little more transparent, I guess, as you move on. So depending on the pressure that you're adding, you're going to get a nice soft at the end, but it's going to start out a little bit on the harder side. So if you do this, and you want to keep this nice and like full yellow color right here, this is where the water brushes come in. And the first water brush is more of a brush style, and you just come in and start blending. Let me bump this up a bit. You'll just start blending this into the rest of it, just like that. So you can keep that color, but you can also blend it into the rest of the piece. The soft water brush is just what it is. It's very soft. Again, I have the opacity down. So, and that's another thing too. If you want to lower the opacity on these brushes, even though these two brushes don't apply color, they're more for blending, these two apply color, but they also blend. So you can go ahead, and if you don't want this to blend as much, so you just want a very subtle blend, or you want to be able to kind of work at this little by little, you can just lower the opacity. If you bring that opacity up, it's going to really pull that color through. So anyway, that is the water brushes. And again, I'm going to go ahead and I'll work on the rest of this. It's a little bit of a mess right now, but we can really fix it up nice and quick. So I'll go ahead and finish this so you guys can see the process, and then I'm going to go over how to add the shadows for this. Alright, so I think that that's pretty good. I could probably stand to work on this a little bit more, but you guys get the idea. So what we're left with is 2 layers. If we remove this, obviously we're losing, because we brushed away a lot of that red. We blended it with the colors on top. So that's why we leave that extra layer. And then right now you can just go ahead and merge this down. So it's all one layer now. I always duplicate this, oops, and I make one black or a dark color, so that I can add a drop shadow if I need to. Okay, so now we want to add some shadows, and we can use the blending brushes to work these in too. So again, I always add a new layer for all my shadows and my highlights, and I'm going to go ahead and put in shadows right here. Oops. And I'm just using the soft airbrush. You guys all have that already in your Procreate app. I'm going to go ahead and select this again, so I'm staying within my work, but I'm working on a new layer. So again, I've got my opacity down to about half, and my brush is pretty small. So I'm going to go ahead and just start working in some shadows here. So if I find that maybe that's just too dark, it looks too much like a line instead of a true shadow, I'll just come in here with my soft water brush. Again, I can lower the opacity so I'm not blending it too much, and this is a more subtle way of doing it. And I can just kind of build it up, so that way it's not too dark or too defined of a line. So again, I'll come back to my soft airbrush and just start adding in any of the shadows that I need. So again, if we want to pull this out, so we don't want it to be a line, we want to kind of feather it out, we'll just go ahead and use our brush to do that. So again, just come back, start adding those shadows, and you can use the soft brush, or you can use the other one as well, the other harder water brush here. So again, I'm doing a very quick job, and I did that one dark on purpose so you guys can see how we can blend these. So that one looks pretty good. Maybe we'll kind of feather this out a bit. Okay, so this one's really dark, so what I'll do is just pick it up and then pull it out just like that. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. You guys get the idea. But we can go ahead now and we can pull that shadow down, and maybe I'll give that a little bit of a blur, just like that, and our letter's done. So that is it. That is how these 4 brushes, you end up getting the 2 water brushes and the 2 blender brushes. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of how they worked. But I'm really interested to see how these would work with illustrators and get their opinions on these brushes. I look forward to hearing from you. If you guys have any questions or comments on this, please let me know. I really like them. They've worked really well for me, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say too. So anyway, that is it. I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.